Why it seems like everyone has more money than you. Have you ever had the feeling that, no matter how hard you try, it seems like everyone around you is more financially comfortable than you are? As if people were driving around in Ferraris while you can barely get out of first gear? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, many people feel this way. And today, we're going to explore why that is, and how you can change the way you see your financial situation. The first reason you feel like you're always behind is upward comparison. What does this mean? It means that when you compare yourself with others, you usually look at those who seem to have more. You see your neighbor's new car, your colleague's luxurious vacation photos on Instagram, or the state-of-the-art gadgets your friend always has, and you think, why can't I get that? But here's the secret. Much of this comparison is an illusion. Many people are pretending to be rich, but in reality, they are living beyond their means. Think of a classic example. You and your friend decide to spend 500 Rs a month on a car. You choose to finance a more modest car, while your friend rents a luxury car. He seems to be doing well, driving a brand new car, while yours is simpler. But after 3 years, you have a paid-off car worth 20,000 Rs. What about your friend? He spent the same amount but has to return the car with nothing in hand. Appearances can be deceiving. The same goes for debts. Most people who appear to live glamorous lives are up to their necks in debt, especially on their credit cards. In Brazil, many people are rolling over their debt month by month, paying only the minimum bill, which creates an illusion of prosperity, while in reality, they are sinking deeper and deeper. Another point that makes you feel like you're falling behind is the fact that you're not clear about what you really value. If you spend too much time focusing on what others have, you end up losing sight of what's important to you. And this is essential, not just for finances, but for life in general. I'll tell you a story. A few years ago, when I decided to quit my job to study and pursue a career that I really loved, I saw many of my friends moving up the corporate ladder, getting promoted, buying houses. At the time, I felt a bit lost, like I was taking a step backwards. But I knew that the path I was following would bring me more personal satisfaction in the future. And today, looking back, I was 100% right. If I had followed in their footsteps just to fit in, I might have been unhappy and unmotivated. This applies to your finances. If you don't know what really matters to you, you'll always be comparing yourself to others. For some people, spending on clothes and technology brings satisfaction. For others, it's all about experiences, like traveling or investing in learning. What's important is that your spending decisions are aligned with your values, not with what others are doing. Now to the third point, you're not learning from others. Instead of feeling bad when you see someone seemingly more successful, ask yourself, what can I learn from this person? This is a mental trick that completely changes the game. When I started seeing people making money online, my first reaction was skepticism. How do they do it? It must be luck, I thought. But instead of letting my envy get the better of me, I decided to learn from them. I started talking to those who were succeeding and discovered that it wasn't luck, but strategy, hard work, and learning. These people were creating brands, diversifying their sources of income, and exploring opportunities that I had never considered. That's the power of changing your perspective from comparison to curiosity. Instead of asking yourself, why can't I? Ask, how are they doing it? This turns comparison into an engine for growth. The fourth point you may be forgetting is that all choices come with advantages and disadvantages. You often see someone successful and think, that person has everything. But what you don't see are the sacrifices behind that success. Perhaps they gave up family time, sleep, or hobbies in order to achieve their goals. Let's take the example of someone who travels frequently. You might think, how does that person do it? But what you don't see is that perhaps they live in a modest place, have cut back on other luxuries, or are saving in various areas of life in order to achieve this dream. Every choice has its price, and what you see on social media is only part of the story. Another important point is that instead of focusing on competing, you can get more out of collaborating with others. We often feel pressured to do better than others, but the truth is that working together can bring surprising results. I remember when I was almost finished with a personal project and discovered that a friend had already launched something similar. At first, I was discouraged, thinking that I would have to compete. But instead, I contacted her, suggested a partnership, and we ended up creating something even better together. Collaboration can open doors you never knew existed. And finally, you may have lost focus on yourself. When was the last time you stopped to think about whether your spending is really bringing you happiness? We often worry so much about controlling expenses and sticking to a budget that we forget to ask ourselves, is this making me happy? Part of the financial journey is learning to balance savings with pleasure. It's important to make space to spend on things that bring you joy, whether it's a special meal, a hobby, or an experience. When you spend on what really makes you happy, it becomes easier to appreciate your own trajectory, and comparison with others loses its force. In short, the feeling that everyone else has more money than you is often an illusion, the result of poor comparisons and unrealistic expectations. The secret is to focus on yourself, what you value, and what you can learn. When you start living in line with your own values, investing in your growth and collaborating with others, comparisons become irrelevant, and you become the protagonist of your own financial story.